Hey YouTube, this is TheAdminShines here in another video, and in this video I'm doing my Season 4 Episode 2 rewrite of Fear the Walking Dead, what comes next. So if you haven't watched the first episode, I uploaded it, way back when. It was called Ocean Eyes, so you can go watch that video and see what's up. So I wrote the full script kind of in like bullet form, and I don't really know exactly how long, you know, how many bullets you would need, like in bullet form, to make the episode like 40 minutes long. But I just thought like you could put like filler in between these, like if you need to make it longer. But here's just the actual script. This episode's more of a bottle episode because I kind of wanted a bottle episode, even though most people don't like bottle episodes. But just because I thought most shows do a bottle episode, so let's just kind of do a bottle episode. But it's not really a bottle episode. It's kind of like a bottle episode and and like a half. So yeah. Wes thanks Eddie for his work on his injuries, but Trina tells Wes that she sees men with guns outside. Diana looks outside and sees Proctor John, and she tells Eddie that it's him. Eddie tells everyone to get down and away from the windows. Everyone listens to him, but Wes questions him. Eddie tells Wes that John is a bad man and that he will take their daughter from them. Eddie looks out the window and sees that Madison is there with John. John and his men start to knock on people's doors, but no one answers. Victor Strand tells Alicia Clark that he can't keep going because his back hurts too much. Alicia tells Victor that maybe they can get to the village and ask someone for help. Victor tells Alicia that he will wait while she does that. Victor rests up behind a big rock while Alicia runs to the village to get some help. Victor hears two zombies walking up from behind him. He struggles to look behind him because of his back. He calls for Alicia, but there's no reply. She was too far away. Victor looked away from round for a weapon, but he only saw small rocks. He started throwing the rocks at the zombies. One of the zombies luckily tripped over the rock in its foot. Victor Strand is saved by a man and a woman. Strand, not knowing if they are going to hurt him or thank the two, or him or not, he thanks the two unconfidently. Victor asks for their names. They reveal themselves to be Carlos and Helena. Carlos is a mute. Helena reaches her hand to help Victor up, but he tells her that he can't because his back hurts. Alicia makes her way into the village. She sees Proctor John and tries to hide, but he sees her and tells her to come towards him. Alicia does not listen, so John tells his men to bring her to him, and they do. Madison is not there at the moment. John tells Alicia that Madison was looking for her. Alicia tells John that she is trying to find help for his friend. John asks where her friend is. Alicia tells John that he is hiding and that his back hurts. John remembers when Alicia was there for him when he was having surgery on his back. John offers to help Alicia's friend if she goes to Texas with him. Alicia lies and says yes. Diana and Eddie see that John is walking away from the village. They do not see Alicia because another building is in the way. Alicia is taking John to Victor. Eddie tells the Reyes family that they are safe. Mariana tells her mom in Spanish that the man says they are safe because Patrina does not understand English. John tells one of his men to go and get Madison. Madison is found and comes back knowing that her daughter is there. Madison runs to Alicia to hug her. Alicia hugs her mother back but does not run to hug Madison. Madison tells Alicia that she is so happy to see her. She kisses Alicia on the forehead. Alicia does not show much emotion when this happens. She tells Madison that Victor is hurt. Madison asks where Nick is and if he is safe. Alicia tells Madison that she does not know. John interrupts the reunion by telling Madison that Alicia agreed to go to Texas with him if he helps Victor. He knows that the hurt friend is Victor now. Madison tells Proctor John that Alicia is not going anywhere without herself and Nick. John tells Madison that he can take everyone that he wants to come. Madison, planning to double-cross John, agrees, just like Alicia. John, his bodyguards Madison and Alicia make their way to Victor. Carlos sees that John's men have guns, so he pulls out a handgun on them. Helena makes sure that her brother does not shoot anyone and start anything. Victor calls for Madison and asks Carlos not to shoot Madison or her daughter. By the grace of Carlos, Madison and Alicia are able to walk towards Victor while John and his men are on a standout with Carlos. John tries talking to Carlos, talking him down but only gets mad when he does not reply. Madison shows concern over Victor and tries to help him, but ends up hurting him. Alicia talks to Helena, asking her to tell her brother to put his gun down because one of them promised to help Victor. Helena listens to Alicia and tells her brother to put his gun down. It takes a bit, but Carlos eventually puts his gun down, and it is obvious that he does not want to. John and his men walk towards Victor to see what's wrong with him. Carlos stares them down, making sure they don't try anything. Carlos shoots his gun in the air 9 times. While Carlos is shooting, John gets one of his men to stop him while he is kneeled down having a look at Victor. Carlos is tackled. Helena begs for them not to hurt Carlos. One of Proctor John's bodyguards has Carlos pinned down to the ground. John questions why Carlos did what he did. Helena tells John that she does not know. John gets up and shuts Helena up by slapping her and points his gun at Carlos, saying that he wants Carlos to tell him why he did what he did. Helena tries to tell John that he's a mute, but one of John's men holds his hand over her mouth. Helena looks at Victor. Victor tells John that Carlos is a mute. John keeps his gun pointed, but eventually puts it away and tells his men to keep Carlos on the ground. John walks back over to Victor to tell him that he is going to have to keep an eye on Carlos if he gets better. Madison, not caring about what just went on, and asks John if he can do anything. John tells Madison that he is not a doctor, but he has a doctor back at his place, but he can't get there because he has no car. Alicia tells Madison that they have to find Nick and can't go to his place. Madison, knowing that John won't have Alicia hurt, says that she will look for Nick while John, Alicia, and Victor go get a car. John agrees, knowing that Madison will come back because she'll do anything to be with her kids. Victor asks what will happen with Helena and Carlos. John tells Helena and Carlos that they are coming with him. Carlos's gun is taken away from him and given to Madison. Zombies start to come, and it is revealed that Carlos shot in the air to lure the zombies over in their direction. The zombies coming forces for John's men to quickly help Victor up, even if it hurts him while he gets up because of his back. Madison goes off in her own direction after saying her bye to Alicia and Victor. Proctor John leads his group back to the entrance of the Gonzales Dam, where he hopes cars would be parked, while Madison Clark goes back to the waterfront where she sees some kids having fun playing in the water while their parents watch. She remembers a moment when Nick and Alicia were younger and they went on a vacation to Hawaii and were at the beach. She was sitting beside Stephen Clark talking about how Alicia wants to be in swimming lessons because she loves swimming so much. Steve reminds her of Travis Manawa and how he recently died. She thinks about how Travis was so sad when Chris Manawa died and how she would act if Nick or Alicia had died. This is all shown in flashbacks. John and his group find the driveway to the dam and see that it is almost untouched by explosions since it is on lower ground. There is some debris though lying on the ground. They find a few jeeps. John drives a jeep with Alicia and Helena in the back, while his two men are in another jeep with Carlos and Victor in the back. They start driving back to John's home base. Eddie and Diana plan to leave, but Wes tells them that they're welcome to stay. Patrina does not want them to stay and tells Wes in Spanish they don't have enough food for them. Wes tells his wife that if the most they can do, it's the most that they can do for Eddie and Diana since Eddie helped Wes. So that's episode 2 right there. I while writing this, or before writing this, I read all the interviews and everything like that with Dave Erickson, what he wanted the characters to be, like the relationship between Daniel and Victor, relationship between Madison, Nick, and Alicia, if Madison was going to be a villain or not. And then I just decided to add Diane and Eddie because they were, in the season 3 ending. So if you don't know, Diane is the girl with pickaxe and Eddie's the guy, the doctor. Kalataka, Walker, Lee will be in it. Same with Luciana, she'll eventually be in it. Nick and Daniel did not appear in episode 2, but they appeared in episode 1, just along with almost everyone else. And Mariana Reyes is the little girl that Madison sees near the end of or at the end of season 3. And then I just made up her parents, Wes and Matrina, and then Carlos and Helena first appeared in episode 2 of season 4, my rewrite. If you guys enjoy, subscribe and like for more, and bye. Peace out. I will probably eventually make the document that I'm writing on public, so then you can just read it for yourself. But yeah, peace out.